Alright, game, come on. And smooth as butter all day. Don't fail me now. Try to reload it. Hey Scott. Scott says I got a game in about an hour to go with no issues. My computer may just be booting the game up slowly. It's entirely possible. Oh, there we go. It's a long load time before. Gotta wait for some people to join now. Post the link to the Discord. Scott says I'd join in, but I turn into a pumpkin at about 10 p.m. on weekdays. Hear that? See how many people are in games right now. This game's probably about over. We got 3 in that, 4 in that. Game's getting close to finishing. There are 5 in there. So we've got a significant number of people about to hit the lobby. You like the new overlays, Scott? I've got a viewer count on the screen and recent subscribers up in the top right. Alright, we're at 2 right now. Get some more people in here. Somebody hitting the lobby. Probably a few more with them. Oh, there. Okay, we've got 3 here. God, I noticed some new flair on the screen. Fancy. Thank you, sir. I was going for fancy. All right. See if we can get one more in here and get a 4-player going. Okay, there's our 4th. All right, let's play. All right, we've got Nordic. Find out in a moment what our mat is. It'll load. Okay, we got balanced workforce. Terrible objective. I think I've only ever won 2 games where I went for it. King of the Hill. Oh boy, we've got Industrial Nordic. Patriotic Saxony, Agricultural Crimea, and Rustfiat Mechanical. Okay, we're gonna do our best here. This is definitely an uphill climb. Well, we're gonna start with some oil. It's a universal constant for Nordic that it's difficult early to get more than 1 worker on the metal. So getting some upgrades here is going to help us produce our mechs more efficiently. Rustfiat's going to produce, of course. They almost always double produce at the beginning, although I came up with a opening for Rustfiat Innovative the other day that I'd love to try out that actually starts by trading oil. Good move by Sachs. I like the trade for oil start. Okay, Rustfiat's in the game, Albion's not. Of course, we're gonna go this way. Start trying to set up our economy. Crimea is going for some upgrades here on the agricultural board early, which is interesting. Saxony's probably going to upgrade their bolster and their deploy, or their move and their deploy. Going bolster first. It usually doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to trade for 2 oil here. And we're going to trade for 2 oil because we're going for 2 upgrades on this mech here. So trading for 2 oil means we're 1 more trade action away from doing this twice. This is a mistake by Rustfiat here. Now, Rustfiat can make mistakes and still win the game because they're Rustfiat. But splitting your workers up like this before you have a mech is almost never as efficient as just, in their case with the mechanical mat, producing 2 or 3 times, and then either instantly building a mech or trading for metal, build the mech. Okay, so we're in round 4. We have enough to get our first upgrade. And we're gonna go for the bolster. What Rustviet does now. Probably a produce, right? No, they're still distributing their workers. Alright, what do we want to do now? Scott, do you ever go for buildings early with the Nords? Let me take the turn real quick and then I can talk about that. I'm wishing now and I'd upgraded my upgrade first. But go ahead and trade for 2 oil. So buildings with the Nordic, there's some thought that it's worthwhile with Polani or Nordic to get a mill in your 3rd turn and put it on this mountain. And the bots will actually do that occasionally too. In kind of mapping out opening sequences, what I've generally found is it takes about the same number of turns with most mats to get the wood for a building and then build a mill as it does to get an upgrade. So I'd rather have the upgrade because then I get more power for bolstering and more movement for moving. I'm not, generally speaking, and I'm happy to know about it if there's an exception, but what I've found on most mats is it takes to get buildings are going to cost 3 wood or 4 wood. I think the 4 wood buildings are under produce, 3 wood buildings are under move, and the 4 wood buildings are under trade. So it's going to take 3 turns in any case for the most part. Let's see. It's going to take 3 turns in almost any case to get that building. I can have an upgrade in that amount of time or less, and I'd rather have the upgrade than the mill, unless I'm going for the build star and I'm trying to get all the buildings. In that event, well, yeah, I'll go for the mill early, but that's not the case in a lot of situations. What Crimea gets here. Going 2 food and a popularity. See, they've got their workers split up too, which I don't really like that. It's not quite as efficient. So let's think about what we're doing here for a second. Can produce, won't give us a mech. But then if we produce again, we'll have 5 workers and we'll put a speed mech over here. Let's go ahead and produce once. We don't have to get that bottom row action every single time, because we're probably not going to go for enlists with this industrial board. BuzzFeed's got their first mech. Crimea has their first enlist. It looks like they're ready to get a second one. They're going for the card upgrade option, which can be really nice, and they may have been wise to go for it the way Rustviet's playing, because Rustviet isn't going for a farm, and Saxony with the patriotic board, they probably still won't do enlist because they're Saxony. But the thing about going for that combat card upgrade instead of the bolster is it doesn't take you too many uses of it to just have a surplus, just more than you can use. And when that happens and you have more combat cards you can use, well, the power star is not happening now and it's out of reach, which means you're likely getting 2 combats if you can do your you have to get 2 combats. You don't get the power star and you can do your objective, you have to get 2 combats. And if you don't have a good objective, well then you're having to stray into other stars, because what Crimea would like to do with the agricultural board is get the power star, mech star, enlist star, objective, worker star, in 1 combat. Can't get the objective, it's 2 combats. That's only if you can get the power star. If you don't upgrade the bolster and you don't get the power star and you can't do your objective, then you're kind of reaching for something that's going to take a lot of extra turns. Let's see, what else do we want? We're going to get this, because since we're not going for enlists, we're not going to get a lot of combat cards. Yeah, we're trailing here. Ramia's already at tier 2. Uphill battle here. Fighting against superior economies. Scott, are there certain stars you always plan on getting? Yes, for the most part. There are some combinations that are the exception. So engineering Nordic and agricultural Nordic and agricultural Tagawa are 3 different combinations I've successfully gone no mechs with multiple times, except Tagawa, which I've only done once. And when you go with a mechless strategy, it changes. Generally speaking, the easiest stars you can get are going to be your worker star, because you're getting workers anyway, your mech star, and your 2 combat stars, and your objective star too. So if you can get the objective without departing much from your game plan, you want to, right? If you can get mechs, and it's worth it to get mechs, the mechs are going to lead to combats. The mechs also really help with late game worker spread. So think about it this way: the build star doesn't synergize with getting any other stars. Mechs help you get combats. Mechs help you get territories. There's a power star, right, which can be cumbersome to get, but the power star helps with combats. The objective star is usually worth it if it doesn't take you more than 1 turn from your normal strategy to get. with the second. Probably spend $3 to enlist this recruit. Or he could pay the 2 popularity for a worker and 3 food. That might be better to get the food. Not take the worker though, because he's going 5 workers. Got river walk and speed. See, if he paid the 2 popularity to get the 3 food, he wouldn't have had to spend the $3, and his very next produce action, he would have gotten the enlist anyway. Although what he's trying to do is save himself a turn, because now he has 3 workers underneath it on his farm. It's underneath. So we're gonna move now, and we're gonna do this little trick where we leave a worker on the village. We're glad Saxony just moved, because it means he can't hit us right there. We're really vulnerable. We just have a 2 combat card, and if we get booted right there, we don't have seaworthy yet. The reason we leave the worker on the village is it means our last 2 produces, we can get ourselves to the worker star without having to move back onto a village and spend a turn doing that. Okay, these are not good options. This is not a great option because we're not planning on enlisting. So where's any additional popularity coming from? It's $2 for something that won't get us to tier 2. This would be good, except we need 1 popularity because toward the end we're going to produce here as well as here and here. Get to 2 workers, so we'll have a total of 6, and then we'll produce 1 more time, and this will turn into 4, giving us 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need 1 popularity. So we can't give up both. So just for lack of anything better to do. The encounter did not help us out at all. And we were watching, and Saxony cannot move this turn. Crimea has Riverwalk and can move, but they can't get farther than here. They certainly can't get up to where we are. Scott Harris, it's the Foam Off Scythe Clinic. Yeah. Try to keep it entertaining, you know, fill the time while people are thinking about their turns. So Saxony is Crimea's best friend right now because they're enlisting. You don't see that very often with Saxony. And I kind of messed up my rotation here because now I've got this metal here I don't need. And what do we have? 3 more upgrades. We'll get to the power star, no trouble this way. So let's put Seaworthy here. It doesn't do much work to defend the resources because we just have the 1 combat card. But what it does mean is if we get attacked, we can then counterattack with 2 mechs. Because what we would probably do if we get attacked is spend 1 power or something like that to get a 2nd combat card, and then we could come back with a double attack. The way this Saxony is playing though, I'd be a little bit surprised if they attacked us. They might. They do have 8 power and 7 cards. And their upgrade is underneath their move action. But we needed Seaworthy. Getting bumped from here back to base is just so hard to overcome. Scott Harris. Oh, I wanted you to pick the 3rd option on the encounter to see what the interface looks like when looking at that opponent's cards. Never seen that. I have used it maybe once, and it just populates down here, and it shows the 3 factions. And you click on one of them, and it shows you the cards. And then you get your cards. It does not tell you, if someone else picks the option, whose cards they looked at. Let's see what Saxony does. I say they build a building. I may be wrong, but yep, they build a building. So let's think about this. We got 3 more upgrades. Can we afford to deviate from the power star here and get some combat cards? So we get some combat cards here. Then we produce. Yeah, I think we can. I think we can. And we need them. We need them badly. Let's get this one and make these enlist cheaper. So, oh, we got good cards. That's great. So now we're feeling a lot more secure. We have 2 more mechs to do, which means 2 more produces, which means we were right to get this, because we'll produce on these 3 spots. Producing here twice, which means we'll get enough oil for these upgrades. We just have to time this right. So we produce, spend a power, that gets us down to 10. Then we bolster, gets us to 13, spend some oil. I think then we see if we can move to the factory. Maybe get a combat card in our objective at the same time. I'm not sure about that. We'd have to bluff for us to be it, and we'd be taking a risk. He's got a lot of power. And we want that power star, so we're not keen to spend it. Saxony's just going to run their economy. See how that goes for them. Not well so far. Let's do artillery. Artillery is a nice deterrent to being attacked. What do you think? If we hit Rustviet with 2 units, we can bluff him successfully? We won't use artillery because he's got a good bit of power. We have less than him now, so we won't get King of the Hill right away. Probably need to go for it, because if Rustviet locks down that factory with 3 or 4 units, we can kiss our objective goodbye. Oh, he left it. It's wonderful. This is not wonderful, though. He's getting more power. Okay, he just took the 2 option. That's good. Alright, we now have enough oil left for our remaining upgrades. The only reason we're going to need to produce is to turn these 2 workers into 4. So I think we're going to start spreading out here a little bit. No, that's not right. We have to bolster, right? We have to bolster and get an upgrade, and then use our move action so we can bolster again and hit the power star. Uh-oh. What's Saxony doing? That's interesting. Gonna go for more mechs, I guess. Kind of wish now that I'd gone Riverwalk so I could spread workers into this area where they're unlikely to get bumped. Alright. Bolster. Then the 2 oil. This part doesn't really matter. Scott, do lakes count as territories controlled at the end of the game? I think they do, right. They do. But here's the thing with the lakes. You can't drop a worker on a lake. So if you start here, if you can move this way, you can drop a worker here and move the mech to there and pick up 2 territories with 1 move. If you go this way, you can drop a worker here and land on a lake and add 2 territories with 1 move. But the next time you move, you drop a worker here and move to lake and just add 1 territory because you lose this one because you can't leave a worker there. The other thing is I don't really want to move and leave a worker here because I'm going to get 4 workers here and I'm going to put my last mech up here to spread them out this way. So ideally I would have gotten the Riverwalk mech last time. I'm just usually kind of eager to get artillery because if someone's on the fence about attacking you, artillery can keep them from doing it. Gonna build a building. All right, let's move. All right, factory card. We're gonna get this one. We're gonna get this one because it's gonna enable us to combine 2 turns into 1. Next turn, we're gonna go for the bolster, get our upgrade star and our power star, right? So we'll be at 2 stars. The turn after that, oh, no. Oh well. I forgot we still needed to do 1 more legit produce to place our last mech. But sometimes, I thought I was doing this, but I wasn't. Sometimes you can get this card if you need 1 more produce. You don't need what's under produce, but you do need to combat because it can chain something like getting your worker star together with a combat. So that's something to look for. This isn't a good example of when that's a good idea, unfortunately. Oh, we're gonna get 3 stars this turn because we get our objective too. What's the score look like? We're doing just fine. Star 1, star 2, star 3. That ought to get their attention. And now we're up by 8. Next turn we'll get 2 stars. Scott, none of those factory cards looked ideal for your current state. Yeah, that's probably right. If I'd gotten to 4 mechs already, this one would have been kind of perfect, but I hadn't, so I won't end up using it. What's our lead here? Our lead is 8. We'll have 3 units in striking distance of the factory. So if we get bumped off the factory, we can come back and attack it. I would expect that someone will attack us on the factory soon. We don't have to worry about any number of workers they bring. Saxony has no interest in what we're doing, it would appear. So Rustviet can hit us with 1 unit. Maya can hit us with 1 unit. I take that back. Rustviet has townships, so they can hit us with effectively 3-4 units. Hey, Pfeiffer. Yes, how you doing tonight, Pfeiffer? Yeah, we were talking about, yeah, lakes are territories. That's correct, of course. We were just talking about how they're tricky though, because you can't leave workers on them. So if you start on a regular hex territory and go over a lake, you only pick up 1 additional. Let's see here. That. That. Just not to give anybody incentive to attack us in different places. Pfeiffer, I'm doing well. I looked for you. You weren't here, so I started a game. I've been here for about, let's see, it says 38 minutes exactly. So Rustviet has to attack the factory this turn. Okay, they didn't. That's probably game. That is probably game. Look at this, guys. Nordic Industrial, we're sitting on 20 coin. That is not bad, the industrial mat. Byford must have just missed you. Yeah, guess so. Guess so. Byford, I got subscribers up in the top right and viewers in the bottom left tonight. You like it? Showing it to Scott earlier. Subscribers up here, view count down here. The view count lags a little bit, it seems, but Saxony can't move. We are substantially in the lead. We can hit a singular mech right here from here. We have over 7 power and a 5. Ramia does not have scout. This is good game, guys. I'm gonna pull out a win with Nordic Industrial here against Rustviet and Crimea. Let's move number 1. Two. Number 3. Yeah, why not? The green and red text in the bottom right, the chart. God. Green and red text, bottom right. Oh, is the chat populating in the window? Are things you guys are chatting about showing up? All right, guys, that was Nordic Industrial in 19 turns. And let's go ahead and cue up another one. Pfeiffer, I'm Nordic Mechanical and not playing my best. I need to play windowed. I think as playing on a TV takes ages to move my mouse over. Yeah, there's a substantial amount of lag. Yeah. And what I found with putting it on a TV, unless you sit pretty close to the TV, it doesn't end up being any bigger than a monitor because you sit so far away from it, right? I need to pull up the stream on my phone. I need to see this text you guys are really talking about. Yep, it's really small text, looks Christmassy. I need to see if I can see this. Yeah, that's tiny. It works, right? That's good. But it's not really legible. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I'm gonna take that out. I'll work on that later. Good to know it works. Pfeiffer, I don't have a monitor at the moment. We'll get one when get a job. Yeah. For a while, people were just giving me computer monitors. Like I got one when my workplace got rid of a whole bunch of them. My sister and brother-in-law gave me one. We filled up quickly here. All right, we're gonna have 5, it looks like, unless Alex gets on us. Or that may be Alexis. So I'm thinking about it. Scott, is the number in bottom left with YouTube logo the number watching the stream? If so, kind of redundant since it is below the video. That's true, but it will be extra information when I take the streams and then I convert the individual games into standalone videos with the faction, the number of turns, that sort of information on it. So people watching the video playbacks will be able to tell how many people were watching. I don't know, maybe that's not useful information, but all right, we got Crimea. Which mat do we have? I think it's something interesting. Engineering. All right, I like engineering Crimea. Let's see who we're up against. Melania Patriotic. Albion Militant. Nordic Innovative. Right. No Saxony in the game. Good for us. Because we're going to be a little vulnerable early. Scott, good point on the video playback. Let's see. Let's look at our objectives here. Become a despised warmonger. We don't really like that one because this engineering board has the popularity next to bolster and above build and next to build, so you can get, so we're going to have some popularity in this game. This is probably the one we need to go for, even though it means we will be able to spread out less early. Lonnie is still loaded. So what are we going to do? I like engineering as an 8-worker board. Some people play it with 3. But I like to produce, get 2 metal towards my mech, produce, get my 4 metal, place my speed mech, and produce again. What that does is, that does a couple things. 1, it puts my speed mech here on the village so I can distribute my workers. 2, it gives me the full 8 workers, gets me to the worker star. And 3, the 3 productions give me enough food that off the first movement, I can go ahead and get this enlist. Now it means that I don't get my enlist until turn 6. So it's certainly not as quick as you can get the enlist with, say, the militant board or the mechanical board. Or I think the agricultural board can get it in turn 2 if you're really committed to it. I don't like getting it in turn 2 with the agricultural board. What is taking Polania so long to load? Gee whiz. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're going to produce. Polania is patriotic. What I like to do with patriotic is I like to move first and then trade for some metal and then move again. See what I get off the encounter. And that way I'm halfway to building my first mech. And hopefully I get something off the encounter that gives me the opportunity to get metal. But it looks like he's going to trade 2 food at the beginning. Probably means he's going to produce next turn and enlist, which is good for us because it means we'll get combat cards off of him. But it's also, to an extent, not great for us because it means he's gonna get them a little faster than we will. Scott signing off. Good luck. Have a good night, Scott. There we go. Let's see what he enlists with first. What that tells us. Win power and combat card. So what probably means is his combat cards are not terrible because he elected to go with power. But he knows he's next to Crimea and that he's going to get cards. Probably why he took that path, took that direction. Right, Nordic's producing with the innovative mat. Gonna get an early upgrade here. Make his enlist cheaper, that's good for us. Wanna see Nordic enlist. We're gonna need combat cards. Let's see if Polania starts to move yet. They're just content to go for their enlists and turtle. This is interesting. Albion intends evidently to rush the factory. He's probably going to get his rally mech here pretty soon. He didn't get anything that's going to give him food or metal, unfortunately for him. Probably going to produce, get his third metal, and then move again. And if he wants to, he can be one space away from the factory fairly shortly. That appears to be what he's doing, is rushing the factory. All right. Nordic produce again? Or is he gonna? No, he's gonna make his way to the village. Probably gonna go for another upgrade for those enlists. Okay, what do we say? We're gonna build our speed mech this turn. Let's see, that was turn 4 for us. Turn 5 is a produce. Turn 6 gets us on this mountain. That's important because the fastest that Saxony with the right mech can build 3 mechs and invade this mountain, he can get 3 mechs in turn 6. And that means we're here in our turn 6. So if he goes first, say with the industrial mat, in his turn 6 he places the third mech, then it gets around to us, and in our turn 6 we move here. So he can't come in and steal this encounter, he can't come in here and build a mine, he has to actually fight us. And because we get our enlist, we're sitting on more power than him at this point, and 2 combat cards. Hopefully 2 good combat cards. Nordic's got a produce incoming, right? And then probably trade for 2 oil to get another upgrade. We're gonna produce. 1 more turn till we get that first enlist. So thankfully, well, Polania's done 2 enlists, so we've already missed out on 2 combat cards, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll get 3 or 4 off of Nordic, in addition to the 2 we get from the enlist bonus, and then 3 more from our own enlists. Yep, look at him go. He's gonna get his rally mech now. He is rushing the factory. This is 5. Albion at the factory in turn 7. That is something. Tell you what, this is Saxony's dream right here if he's in the game, is to look up here and say, hey, look, an Albion mech with Albion with no combat cards up here right next to my tunnel. Gonna upgrade the enlist again? Yeah. Alright. Now it's time to have a little fun. We're gonna put 6 on the farm and we're gonna put 2 on the mountain. Because with the engineering board, we're just gonna build 2 mechs. Mechs don't give us coin. Buildings give us coin. So, I can't do this. We need popularity. This is expensive and takes our coin. We can't do either one of these because we're at 8 workers. Our next produce is going to cost us a coin and it's going to cost us a popularity. Either one of these bankrupts us on one of that, and we have to spend a turn either with gain or trade. It's not worth it. Just going to do that. Our combat card enlist and get our combat card bonus. Kick the turn over to Polania. We got a 4 and a 2. Could be worse. Let's look at the score. We're right in the thick of things. Not bad, not amazing. Interested to see what Nordic does next. Whether they trade for some food before moving, or if they want to produce some more and get to 5 workers. See if they're gonna build mechs. You definitely want to build mechs when you have the innovative board. Okay, they're gonna go ahead and move. Get the encounter. Are they going with a 3 worker strategy? I guess not. They're leaving. They had another move and they left the worker on the village, so they want to get more workers, apparently. Just gonna be patient and wait. Expensive mech. They had the coin to do it. Trying to decide what they're gonna get seaworthy. Alright. We're just gonna produce. This building number 2 for Polania? Yes, armory. Well, their objective is not to build 3 buildings away from their home base, apparently. There it is. There's the factory. And the flag token. What he gets for his factory card. Next turn, we can either move and get another enlist, or we can trade for some metal and get another mech. We're going to trade for the metal and get the mech, because what that is going to mean is that when we move, we can start spreading out and actually go across the river. If we were to go ahead and move, or there wouldn't be any point in moving, we'd probably just gain a coin. But we'd rather use that turn to expand out and get some territory. Get on wood because, okay, yeah, he's at 4 workers now. He's probably going to move this one over to here or over to here and use that food to get his enlist. Get our Riverwalk mech, like we talked about. Now what does Albion do? We didn't look at his factory card. He got the enlist one. It's not a bad one. He's got the coin to use it. He got to the factory, but he has very little economy set up to speak of, and we're in round 8. So what's his game plan now? Is he going enlist or going for encounters? Well, he got food, which he doesn't really need now because of the combat card, right? So he's going to go 3 power and 2 combat cards. Okay. Makes sense, I guess. Nordic's going for the factory himself. So now we have 6 food. Why do we have 6 food? We have 6 food because we have 3 enlists left and we have coercion. So if we use 3 combat cards, 6 food gets us our last 3 enlists, so we don't have to produce again on food. So we'd like to get an upgrade and we'd like to get some wood to start building our buildings. So we're going to leave our food right here because he can only river walk from tunnels, right? And no one else here can river walk to farm, so the food should be safe there. I'm going to leave 1 worker here, take 4 workers here, and let's get 3 workers on Tundra. End our move. And let's go ahead and get this coin enlist, I think. No, let's get this one, because we're going to be building buildings pretty soon here. Melania quit on us. So we put 3 on here so that when we produce, we can get an upgrade. We put 4 on here so we can get 4 wood. And what we're hoping for, right, is that we get an upgrade. We upgrade our bolster, or maybe our combat card, and we upgrade our build. So then our buildings just cost 1 combat card each. See if Albion wants to fight us. I mean, he could, right? He used his factory card last time. But it's not like he needs to boot us and then take our food that badly unless he just wants to mess us up. He has his combat card, which will get him enlists. No, he's going the other way. Leaving flag tokens as he goes. Alright, we're feeling a little safer from Albion right now. I'm gonna go ahead and produce. We can produce on 2 spots. We'll go here and here. And we're still getting enlists out of them. We'll get one more out of them. How many cards do we have? We have 4 cards. Let's go power. So Albion can attack us here. Take this wood, if they so want to, because they're on this tunnel. But if they do that, we can counterattack them with 2 units. Well, let's see where they go. I bet their plan is to go to that encounter or that encounter. Well, okay, that encounter. That's right, because they don't have Burrow yet. They just have the one mech. So this is Albion playing like he's Polania, basically. Rush the factory and then get... Wonder if he has enough popularity for that. Doesn't. 5 resources can be absolutely amazing. Gotta have a lot of power now. Yeah, he's at 12. Alright, Nordic's gonna boot the worker off the factory and get his factory card. Gonna move too and give us another combat card off an enlist. Nice. Hopefully it's not another 2. Getting a ton of 2s. You pick that factory card pretty quickly. There must not be a lot there that's that great. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get Human Shield. And we're going to protect our wood. So we've got 5 workers to put here. We picked up a 5 off that enlist. That's nice. We're going to go with this one because it doesn't look like either one of these guys are building mechs aggressively. And there's our objective. We want to get that sooner rather than later because now we have another move action to take off these enlists. And what that is going to enable is it's going to let us it's going to let us basically spread out now. We don't have to depend on we don't have to consolidate our workers late in the game to get the objective, which is good. We probably should have built that turn because we still have 4 buildings left and only 1 enlist. So it would have been good to get ourselves 1 building at least. Okay, Albion's going to go for a combat star here. Good job by Albion. Let's see which lake he retreats to. If he retreats to this lake, he can come down here and attack and take our food. we're prepared to defend it pretty heartily, because it'd take us a lot of effort to get that much food back. Let's look at our building bonus now. Neighboring lakes. So this is our first spot that we want to definitely want. This is the first spot we definitely want to build on. One of these worthless twos. And let's get the monument next to these two lakes. What's the magic number with these lakes? 4. We're not going to be able to get 6 to 7. We're just not. You pretty much have to build there, there, and there. I mean, if we got one there, there, and there, I mean, that's a doable place. But that's going to be hard to get. Going to be hard to get to. Albion is still sitting on a lot of power. This is when Wayfair would be nice, right? To use this move that we're going to enlist after to just go ahead and run away with the resources. We can't really do that though. So let's do this. This will accomplish a couple things. Move there. There. And then we'll move this guy up here. That consolidates our mechs for us. Here's our last enlist. Protects our food with 2 units. No one nearby can hit us with more than 1 unit. And it also gets us 2 mechs where our workers are now. So we have multiple ways to spread out. And the third thing I didn't think about is it traps Albion down here. Which he doesn't really want to be trapped down here. He wants to run around and move. So does he attack us? He won't win. Not sure he knows that. Can't know what our cards are. Got 4 extra coin there off that, off being next to 2 lakes. And what we say, we'd like 4 lakes. So building here and building here will give us 4 lakes. Albion's under 5 minutes. He's gonna run out of time if he's not careful. Oh, of course he's not trapped. He has flag tokens. Not that interested in his popularity, though. He was at 7 popularity, and he got rid of it just to bump one of my workers. A little surprising. Maybe he didn't want to give me that spot to build on. See what Nordic does. Now we can't move this turn. But depending on how much Nordic spins here, he may leave himself vulnerable to future attacks. Thing is, we only really have 2 good combat cards, so we're looking at perhaps an one attack with 1 unit, 1 attack with 2 units. No, he got that combat pretty cheaply. Another one of these 2s we don't need. Don't want to put a mine there because it's already a tunnel. Monument doesn't do any good there. We're not going to make any more mechs, so it doesn't matter at this point what buildings we put down, not really. Be right back, guys. Alright, it's our turn now. So what are we gonna do? What changed on the map? Not a lot. We're gonna move. And we're gonna keep. What's the score look like? We're winning. We're gonna keep our units fairly centralized so we can get combats when we need them. Don't have to leave anything here, right? Because it's because that's where a building is. We're gonna keep our units together here. Use the chance somebody's gonna attack us. We're looking for an opportunity to get a combat. We don't really have a good one yet. At this point, it would be nice if Nordic would upgrade. So they won't do this turn. Maybe next turn. These guys trading combats is our friend right now. They're just not committing enough power to weaken themselves. We're going to pick up 2 new lakes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to get 6 lakes, guys. We're getting 9 points off the building bonus. That's wonderful. Albion needs to select their combat card and power. Their time is ticking. They're at 2.5 minutes now. Albion tried to get it on the cheap and it didn't work out. Now Nordic has artillery. That's something we have to pay attention to. The building doesn't really matter at this point. Just not a mine because we're on tunnel already. To 6 with this building bonus. We're rocking the score right now. We're spread farther out than anybody. We're the only, aside from Polania, we're the only person at tier 2. Polania is a bot that's not even gonna quit. What stars does Albion have? It's just combat star. Okay, they have their objective star. I'm sorry, they have a combat and they have their enlist star. Now they're going to attack with 1 unit with the factory card. These guys really want that factory. We're hoping that Nordic will upgrade this time. Oh, he just completely bluffed him. 100% bluff. So hopefully what happens now is Nordic upgrades, which gives us the power star, which frees us up to go in and take the factory and have 2 units on it. He is not going to upgrade. He's going to deny us combats. That's too bad. Well, we're going to go ahead and get the power star and move, but I don't want to keep these guys together. And there's not really a place we can move to that sets us up better for a combat. I mean, we could move both guys here, which would allow us to go back here. Let's see what happens. I mean, I know the guy playing Albion. He's a good player. I don't know if he's just trying a new strategy or what he's doing. He's at 1.5 minutes now on time, so he's been giving it a lot of thought. Right? We're gonna get the build star next time, but it's looking kind of rough for getting those combats, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, I'm just trolling. Yeah, that kind of makes some sense. Alright. Let's get a combat card. We're really just doing this for the popularity. You know, probably won't need it. And let's put the mine here for the last lake. you are doing a good job. You just need somebody to fight now. But in lieu of that, I think what we'll do next turn is produce, get 3 oil up here, upgrade our mech creation here, and then we can just make our other 2 mechs. Might be the easiest thing to do. Nordic's just going to stay on the water. The other thing we could do is we could move over here, and then in a couple turns, knock that worker and go and attack one of these mechs. But I feel like if we do that, he's just going to move them both out onto the water anyway. We could move down here, and then the next move we have, go attack the bot. Just need the one combat now. Albion can move all over the place, so going up here doesn't really can over here. Yeah, see, Nordic's not gonna let. Oh wait, he's gonna give us a combat. Does he just want it to be over? Albion left the game. Oh no, he probably ran out of time. Wasn't watching, but that's probably what happened. So why did Nordic take the factory like that? He has to know that into the game. I can afford to lose to popularity. Okay. This is game. Gonna lose 2 power. Got a 5 and at least 7 power, so we're set. And this guy out, I guess. He shouldn't use artillery. He has 3 power. Well, now he just has 2 power. I don't guess it matters that much. He just wants to end the suffering. Get out of this game. I mean, he could have held on. So, I mean, suppose anything could have happened. Let's engineering Crimea in 19 turns. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's do another one up. Like a 4-player game, I think. Hey, Pfeiffer. Fancy seeing you here. Yeah, no. If you're watching tonight and you're not subscribed, you should subscribe. I've got a subscribe notification I'd like to test, and your name should appear in the top right of the screen up here. If you do, not already subscribed. Be cool to check those out. Make sure they're working. Just set them up today, so. All right, we got 4. All right, we are Crimea again, but this time Thunder for the win is Rusviet. 3 mountain territories at the end of our turn. That's probably the one to go for. Mechanical board. The mechanical board earlier today. Good board for Crimea. Not the fastest board for Crimea. Pfeiffer, I've just unsubscribed. Refund me after the game to resub. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe. All right, what are we gonna do here? We're gonna produce, get our first food. Gonna trade for 2 more food, and then produce for our 4th food. Get that enlist combat cards, and get our combat cards off the enlist in turn 3, which is nice and early, and it's before Rusviet can make it to his farm. See what mat Albion has. Albion has the patriotic mat, which is a good mat for Albion. Has the potential to rack up a lot of coin. So what mountains are we going to take? We've got this one in our home base. We can control that one pretty effortlessly. This is another one we can reach pretty easily. And then these 2 are both candidates. They're both off of 1 tunnel. Rusviet's in the game, so we can't wayfare to this one, which would be nice. Albion's in the game. We can't wayfare to this one. This one's 2 spots away, wayfare, as is this one. So we're probably looking at 2 out of these 3. So Albion just moved. Not have oil on the. How much popularity does he have? Just 2. Gonna gain a worker and 3 food. See if he does take the worker. Be interesting to see it on the next produce if he goes to 7 workers or stays at 5. Rustviet has the innovative map. I really wanted to get innovative Rustviet tonight because I came up with a new strategy not long ago for that I want to test. Honestly, it's going to be difficult to beat innovative Rustviet with mechanical Crimea. Innovative Rustviet is just an incredibly fast combination. I've seen it in the game in 12 turns. It can theoretically, with perfect encounters, in the game in 10 turns. We're looking at more than that with Crimea Mechanical. But we are going to have probably more coin than Rustviet. So hopefully we can get out in the league. Maybe we'll get an encounter that gives us popularity and we'll hit that tier 2. That would definitely help us. We need to get at least 2 popularity off of the encounter, or get, for instance, 3 wood, which would enable us to build a monument, which would give us more popularity as we build next. He's gonna go 7 workers. All right. Not the best encounter. So what's innovative Rustviet gonna do this turn? He's got his 8 workers. He's got his mech. Probably gonna move for the farm, right? He went Riverwalk? No, he went speed. Okay, Albion had Foundations of the Empire, so he got that. That's nice. So Rustviet splits his workers between the mountain and the tundra now, right? Puts 3 on the mountain, 5 on the tundra. Yes. Every produce now for him gives him a mech. See, we could have used that right there, but he got it instead of us. I guess he's going for upgrades because it has 3 coin underneath it. If I had to guess, I'd say that what he's going to do is he's going to produce, build a mech, then trade for food and use the oil to upgrade his enlist, and use the food he just traded for to all right, it's round 4. What are we gonna do? We're gonna trade for 2 metal, right? Because now we have our combat cards. 2 metal is enough metal with a combat card to give us a mech. It's gonna allow us to distribute our workers. And I forgot to flag. Ooh. The village is a nice spot to flag. You can worker there and count on it being fairly undisturbed throughout the game. Rustviet can walk up there, but that's really the threat to it. Other than, I mean, I guess Polania too. Get there. Industrial Saxony. Industrial Saxony could have 2 mechs by now if he wants. Trade 2 metal, produce, trade 2 metal, produce. This is turn 5, trade 2 metal. Turn 6, produce. And we're just barely going to get on this in turn 6, so we're barely going to preempt Industrial Saxony invasion, but he's not on pace to invade us at turn 7, so we don't really have to worry about that. So Albion traded for 2 metal. He's going to make his first mech. Rustviet has a produce incoming. Another mech. Now he's got Riverwalk. Maybe he's going up to the farm now. His combat cards. Speed mech. A little light on combat cards at the moment, with nobody next to us enlisting. So what are we gonna do next? We gotta split our workers up between these 2 spots. We're actually gonna put 4 here on the farm, and we're gonna put 1 on the mountain. Why are we gonna do that? Because we're gonna go for an upgrade. We only have 1 card left, and once we split them up, we're gonna produce before we make a mech because we won't have any metal on the ground. So if we produce and then use this card, we'll run out of cards. So what we can do instead is we can produce, we'll have 4 food to get our second card and our second enlist. We'll have 1 metal on the ground. Then we can trade for 2 oil and use 1 of our 2 cards. Get an upgrade. And what we'll do is we'll upgrade our bolster and our mech. And then we use our last card to bolster and get the mech. And we'll be out of cards, but then we have 4 workers here to produce and get an enlist. So low on these cards. We really need Rustviet to start enlisting because Saxony's probably not going to. If Rustviet doesn't, okay, there's some food. I was gonna say if Rustviet doesn't start look like they're going to enlist pretty soon, like I thought they were using the trade action as their trade action over upgrade as their source of food. All right. Food or metal would be nice here because it saves us cards. And you know what we're gonna do? Oh, ooh. We could gain 2 popularity, which gets us to 5. With the enlist bonus, we get to 7. Or we could pay $2 to gain any 3 resources. But what's the building bonus? The building bonus is over the tunnels, so we won't get any building bonus. But we'd pay $2 and then get the $2 right back if we built a monument. And we've got 3 more mechs to build, so we'll get 3 popularity. So we'll go this direction. 3 wood. And all things being equal, we're going to build right here because we have to at some point control 3 mountains. And this guarantees we control this mountain whether we leave a worker here or not, which gives us a little bit more flexibility in moving our workers around as the game goes on. Alright, Saxony now has 3 workers on metal, which is what they wanted. That's going to let them get a mech each produce. They really should probably go with option number 3. That would take all their popularity and get the combat card recruit. Because we still have 3 enlists to get. They're not going to. Albion has 3 left to get. That's a source of potentially a lot of combat cards for Saxony. Alright. Albion's going for the oil. Hopefully he doesn't cut us off here. We're going to need all the help we can get against. Owens looks like they're going to build. Get this coin. Make sure we don't miss coin. Saxony. What the score looks like. Rustfiat's stockpiling coin, that's for sure. Actually, he's only at 8. Albion's in the lead right now. So our combat cards are not good, but we're going to be cycling them soon. Okay, good. That's a coin off of Saxony right there. We're going to get 3 coins off of Saxony's mechs and 2 off of Rustfiat's. That's 5, and 3 off of ours. That's 8. That sole enlist is going to give us 8 coins in this game. It's just such a powerful enlist. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but it really is. 8 coins is 4 territories at the end of this game. 8 coins is like controlling the factory and 1 other territory at tier 1. Okay, now he's going to start enlisting. That's good for us. This is one of the things that makes innovative Rustfiat really strong. And that's not bad for him right there, because he only has enough food 3 out of 4 of his enlists. I guess he's planning to trade for some more of it. That's the 4th enlist right there. That speeds his game up a turn. He's at 5 popularity. I guess he wants to get to 7. Nope, he's going to take the enlist. The right call on his part. That's 2 enlists this turn, and that robs us of a card. Because we don't get the card off the enlist that came from the encounter. We do get one that came from the bottom row action after the... Alright, let's get our upgrade. Little tip, get in the habit of using your card before you use your resources, because sometimes you'll have enough resources sitting on the ground pay for the bottom row action entirely, but you'll want to use a card anyway to save one of those resources for next time. And if you just start clicking there, you can sometimes click more times than you intend to. So it's just a nice habit to get in to start with the card. And if you don't want to use a card, then you can just go straight to the hex, but at least you're not going to accidentally not use a card, because that can cost you a turn. Let Albion go. No flags either. Where are all those points coming from? Resources? 3 of them are. Just got a lot of coin with that patriotic board. Where's the other mid note going? Factory. He still doesn't have combat cards. He's got to worry about Rusviet hitting him. Rusviet honestly could have done it last time. Rusviet didn't do it, probably because he's planning on getting popular in this game. Hasn't gotten his bonus off. It's third. Probably get his combat cards now. Oh, it looks like he went for power. I mean, maybe it's the right call. Saxony's not really. No. Saxony has underpass and speed. We may see a Saxony attack. Albion. Light on cards, guys. We go scout. In case Rusviet decides they want to attack us. Yeah, it'd be nice if there was a game warning. Flags and traps. Are you sure you don't want to place a flag? Are you sure you don't want to place a trap? Something like that. What do you think? Does Saxony hit Albion there? Got the power, he's got the cards. Albion can't throw a card. Royal. Doesn't look like he's gonna do it. I would have done it. He's gonna attack Russ instead. Rusviet is at 2 power, so I get it. Could throw a max of 7, right? Rusviet doesn't have People's Army. Probably more concerned about Rusviet winning this game than about Albion. Not entirely unreasonable. Albion ahead right now. Rusviet's ahead right now. It's going to be harder for Albion to maintain that lead. Rusviet in native is just such a good combination. Oh, ooh, Sax. Oh. He went 13. 12 guarantees a win. Oh. Ouch, guys. I wish we'd gone Riverwalk now. Rusviet's gonna turn around and get a really cheap star. You whiz. That's when you're Saxony and you've got to bluff a little bit. I mean, he could have gone 3 and won that. But if he'd gone, you know, 6, he could have felt pretty good about his chances. And if Rusviet plays to beat a 6, he's got to throw all his power, which he's probably not going to do. And he's got to throw a 4 or a 5. That's so many resources. We went scout because we wanted to be prepared if Rusviet got frisky, but because we just have the one combat card. Man, if we had Riverwalk now, we could have turned around and hit him. Rusviet's got to do it, right? Nope. Got mech number 4, is that what he did? No, he didn't produce, he just deployed because he already had metal on the ground. think I've been muted. Sorry about that, guys. I mute it so I don't cough in the mic. Yeah, there it is. He had it. Look at that, guys. Round 12. That was a 4-star turn. What were the 4 stars? Oh, he got the enlist off the movement action. Innovative is just so fast. Yeah, we never, by turn 12, we couldn't do anything. You have to deny Rusviet combats because the innovative board is incredibly fast, but it is also very low on power because the bolster is over the upgrade. No, I'm sorry. The bolster with the innovative board is over the build. And you don't want to build with the innovative board because it slows you down. So you have to deny combats. You have to either have power or you have to put your units where Rusviet or Crimea can't get the combat stars, because otherwise, as you saw, the game's over in 12 turns before you have a chance to do anything. All right, guys. It is late here. We're going to call it for the night. Let's get Pfeiffer back in here to do his resub. All right. Let's see here. See if it works. Back to do it. Back, Pfeiffer. Resub. Well, I guess it's not working. Or it doesn't count with the resub. The cooldown period must be longer. Oh well. Anybody else wants to sub and see the notifications, that'd be cool. But that's fine. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Had a good night. I think we played 3 games. Is that right? And we 4 games. Play 3 games or 4 games? In 2 hours. Yeah, you did a good job, Pfeiffer. Yeah, with the biggest thing is just go for that first enlist earlier, patriotic board with Albion. You just leave yourself really vulnerable when you don't have any combat cards with Albion, or anybody really, because you can just attack somebody and know exactly how much power you have to throw to win the combat. And there was a time or two when Saxony totally should have attacked, and they didn't. And there was 4 oils sitting there that would have been completely free, and all they would have had to do is throw a little bit of their power and a combat card. They elected to go for Rusviet instead, which may have been the right call, but then they went all out and they gave Rusviet easy combats. So the innovative board with Rusviet is just so good, though. It's and as I was just saying, it's the only way to beat it is to make the game longer, because once you get mechs and you get enough food to do those enlists, you just start moving repeatedly and picking up your combats, picking up your objectives while getting the enlist, and that's how you get that 4-star turn. I've done it with Militant. I think I've only gotten Rusviet Innovative once, ever, to be honest. That's an hour, so maybe I've gotten it twice. Okay, both times I've gotten it, 3-player and 4-player, I've won with it. But I don't recall the both of those games. But all right, guys, have a good night, and catch you again later. Bye.